Think to myself, what's going on? And I said, hey. What is up, you guys? It's your boy Rob, Hollow Avarice, back again with another reaction. Today I am going to be watching in preparation for Genshin Impact's 4.0 update. We're all very excited for Fontaine. In fact, the 4.0 live stream was earlier today. My reaction to that is up on YouTube. So make sure you check that out. This might go up tomorrow. So, for me. For you, the live stream went up yesterday. Alright? Or a couple days ago. I don't know when I'm putting this up. It's going to be in the next few days. And it was an awesome thing. So, the trailer was amazing. The whole live stream, there was a lot of really cool content there. Today, though, I want to be reacting to a video by Cat with Blue Hat. It's Genshin Impact full story before Fontaine. This is going to be my review. It's going to be a fun look back at everything that we've done so far. I might be pausing, I might be skipping around, but I'm going to try and get the majority of this recorded. All right? Without further ado, we're going to dive right in. As I am doing this, guys, make sure you are subscribed right here on YouTube, and if you want, you can join me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/HollowAvarice, and watch. That's where I play Genshin. All right, so let's see. Here we go. All right, without further ado, Genshin Impact's full story before Fontaine, all cutscenes, full movie. All right.
So, what you're trying to say is that you fell here?
Old Paimon voice.
World? But when you wanted to leave
The
and
twin
go on
stars.
to the next world, your path was blocked by some unknown god?
The Heavenly Principles,
Outlanders.
the Second Throne.
Your journey ends here.
There's a lot of theories. Adult Paimon.
Who are you? The sustainer of heavenly principles. The arrogation of mankind ends now.
I forgot this was such a cool introduction. Alright, I play as Lumine, but I'll allow it. I wonder if we're ever gonna get our wings back.
Wait! Don't go! Give my sister back!
And just like that...
And just like that,
Oh, yeah.
the god took away my sister. Some kind of seal was cast upon me, and I lost my power. So while we used to travel from world to world, we are now trapped here.
I've heard this theory, and it's one of the crazier theories, but it's kind of cool, and it's kind of a really wacky out there. And it deals with the fact that this god was settled by the primordial one. There's like a primordial god, and this is the second throne who upholds that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So essentially, we are rebelling against God. And what famous winged being rebelled against God in our world? As we all know, a lot of Genshin lore is based off our myths and our lore. Lucifer. So there's a theory that Aether and Lumine are representatives of Lucifer. Think about it. Their element, the thing that they used was light. Lucifer, commonly known as the Lightbringer. We travel through the worlds as stars. Lucifer was commonly known as the Morning Star. Lucifer led the armies of hell. Our sibling is leading the army of the abyss. In the Ars Goetia, which is the lesser key of King Solomon. Who may or I watched a really cool video recently by Arashai, I think her name is. That King Solomon is going to be analogous with King Deshret, and the enemies of him were the gods, the demon gods, all named, of course, after the Ars Goetia: Morax, Barbatos, Baal, Beelzebul. Paimon is another one of those demon gods, or demons, most known for their loyalty to Lucifer. I just thought that was a really interesting theory that I heard recently, and I'm like, that's kind of insane, if true.
How many years ago was it? I don't know. But I intend to find out. When I woke, I was all alone, until I met you 2 months ago.
Yeah, Paimon really owes you for that. Otherwise, Paimon likely would have drowned. So Paimon will do her best to be a great guide.
Oh, Paimon.
We should head off. Let's get going.
The traveler then encounters their first statue of the Seven, which gives them animo powers. I thought there was another cool... I'm just going to be spewing random fan theories, random ideas that I have in my head. There was one fan theory that the siblings don't belong in this world, they're descenders. Until all of a sudden they do belong in this world. Before you touch the Statue of the Seven, you do not have a constellation. The moment you touch the Statue of the Seven, you gain a constellation and become part of the world. I think that's a really cool idea. Because that's when you first get your constellation. This might be a theory. This is my own personal pet theory that I've kicked around. I think that the different archons, because I'm pretty sure we're going to get one of every color, right? So like Animo is green, Geo is yellow, Hydro is going to be blue, or no, so Hydro would be indigo, Animo would be blue, Dendro would be green, Electro is violet, and Pyro is going to be red. Doesn't really fit with Cryo, because Cryo is an orange, but then it would fit Rainbow. And if you combine all the powers, at least speaking in terms of light, if you combine all the spectrum of lights, you get pure white light. And I'm guessing like once you get all the different elemental powers, Ether's power is going to be restored, his power of light. Pet theory. Doesn't quite line up, but the two-head to Mondstadt and see a dragon. Venti and Fallen. This was such a cool scene and such a cool start to the game.
It's all right now. I'm back. Is he talking to a dragon? Who's there?
So cool. They collect the crimson crystal left behind by the dragon and continue forward. Outrider Amber.
Hey, you! Stop Stop right there!
You are interrupted by Amber, outrider of the Knights of Favonia. She leads them to Mondstadt City. Amber gives the traveler a wind glider, but soon after, storm terror attacks.
The sky.
So cool. This is when we first fight the Abyss, right? In the sky, the traveler chases the dragon away.
Are you hurt?
In a fight that hasn't really been duplicated yet. I thought it was a really interesting fight. And then we meet our boyo, Cavalry Captain
You
Kaya.
actually got the power to go up against the dragon. Are you a new ally? Or a new storm?
Kaya Alberic. The Knights of Favonius invite the traveler to their headquarters to express gratitude for the traveler's actions.
Quite rewarding.
The traveler soon helps the knights
We've
deal
seized
with
another
reducing
temple from
Stormteller's
Stormteller's
power.
grasp.
I can take care of the rest here. You go take care of other things while I'm at it.
See you later then. Bye-bye.
There's no way Hilly Turtles organized an ambush like this themselves. Not with their limited mental capacity. Thus you were behind this.
So good. Such a great entrance.
Knights of Favonius, always so inefficient.
Agree to disagree, but your involvement in this just made things a whole lot more interesting.
I'm pretty sure they have Caribert and the stuff of that in here. They do have Caribert. So I'll talk a little bit more about Kaya later. I have some thoughts, obviously, on that. The traveler then finds Venti. Our good old Venti boy. A tone-deaf bard.
What is to be sung transpired in days of yore, when the divine archons still walked the earth. A dragon cast his curious gaze on the world below, as he parted from the heavens that gave his birth. The dragon sought truth amongst common folk, but mortal trifles only fogged his mind. The wind-born bard strummed his strings dolce, and the holy lyre answered his questions kind. The dragon was but a child, full of wonder, and soared the heavens free from care.
As of Nahida's second story quest, we know that the Dragon King is alive or resurrected in some form. So dragons still exist, but most of the dragons were killed off by the primordial one that made way for the Archon system. But they still exist in some form.
The bard's songs invited him to sing along, for he yearned to let all perceive him fair. Enchanting legends the bard and dragon were.
I love
But the
Venti's
tides of
wings in that.
despair soon engulfed the land. The lion fang perished, and the falcon flag slept. As a vile dragon approached Mondstadt,
The Lion Fang was Vanessa, right?
over the cathedral loomed death and his friends. Of the
Albedo's
people's
brother.
agony, the bard soon sang. The soaring dragon heeded his grave calls, and amidst the windstorms of brutal war spread.
And we've seen the remnants of that dragon on
Blood of
Dragon's
venom
Spine.
sent the sky dragon into slumber, only to awake to be expelled in abhor. Why do people in this age loathe me so? But the Holy Liar replied no more. Wrath and woe, vigor and venom, poured from the dragon's bitter eyes. The dragon's curse sprawled in silence. But the liar could no longer soothe his cries. He was once such a gentle child, now so full of rage and suffering. I also came across a teardrop crystal. Can you purify it?
Have they really explained that purifying power? So, the travelers steal back the Holy Lyre to help Storm Tower revert back to being Dvalin.
Who are you?
The Fatui steal it before them.
She disappeared!
Freeze! What are you doing here?
No, run! Oh no! We're busted! Run!
What? Follow me!
Diluc helps the traveler retrieve the stolen lyre from the Fatui. Along with Jean, the four restore the Holy Lyre to its original power. And Venti tries to summon Dvalin.
What has been done cannot be undone.
Then why do I see sadness in your eyes? Sadness that speaks of your yearning for this song. We are communicating. Huh?
No! Don't get bored! Do not be fooled by him, dear dragon. He left you to rot alone. Now, listen to me! To deceive you once more.
Beatles.
Let your wrath fester. Mondstadt has already turned its back on you.
You were planning this all on to have me slain.
I kind of want to see Dvalin again. We know he's been purified. We can obviously re-battle him in Stormterror's lair. But he has been purified. I kind of wish we could see him in an event or in some capacity.
The time has come for the dragon to serve its true master. While you will wear your magnetic cells, watch the world tremble.
Dvalin.
Your Highness, your humble servant returns. When your homeland returns to this world, we shall revel in its glory.
Cool. Diluc finds out the dragon's location and everyone arrive at Stormterror's lair. Awesome. Still a really cool boss fight. Very basic by modern Genshin standards. For the time, a really cool boss fight. This is 1080p. I'm realizing I'm suddenly...
This place is gonna collapse!
The four saved Dvalin by destroying the corrupted blood clots.
been a while since we flew like this together. Huh, Dvalin?
Just now. Why? Why did you not ask me to protect you like the last time?
Me not wanting you to listen to the Abyss Order doesn't mean that you have to listen to me. Freedom, if demanded of you by an Archon, is really no freedom at all.
Is this the power of the Animal Archon?
So cool.
But I am no longer part of the Four Winds.
Even if that's so, you still protected us regardless. Now spread your wings of freedom and go with my blessing.
Still so beautiful.
And so, the Storm Terror threat was quelled. I clarified the misunderstanding to the citizens of Mondstadt, and let them know that they are safe. To them, it seems Storm Terror attacked Mondstadt out of nowhere, and then vanished just as quickly. They must be finding the whole ordeal very confusing.
However, winds change their course. Someday, they will blow towards a brighter future.
Like, even that, every once in a while, just show, like, him flying over. In Mondstadt, they returned the Holy Lyre. Now broken.
The Holy Liar! Oh, Lord Barbados! Even if I atone for these sins for the rest of my life, it would still not be enough!
Barbados doesn't care, he's fine.
Oh, give it here.
How could this? The Holy Liar, but how? Huh? Let Paimon see! No. I don't know how you managed to fix it, but you'll never touch the lyre again!
We, really should get going. That trick I used to repair the Holy Lyre. I mean, the magic I used isn't going to hold forever, you know.
What? You tone deaf, Bard! Hey, don't go!
Oh, and then this happened, that's right. A Fatui. Which means she has come.
At last, Mondstadt's rodent ruler in the flesh.
La Signora. Just the queen of baddies. The baddie herself. Ugh. Just. La Signora. The fair lady. And we didn't know it then, but that was setting up the Commedia dell'arte naming scheme. The fair lady.
Scurrying through the streets looking for leftovers? Mondstadt calls this a god?
Resident rodent beats invasive vermin.
Don't you dare speak back to me, insolent bard. Absentee Archon of Mondstadt. How impotent you've become.
That smirk you wear looks out of place. Did you steal it from your master's face?
Should have held your tongue.
We know that Venti was also the weakest of the Archons because he did not receive praise from his people, because that is in the opposition of true freedom, which is why he was so easily defeated.
So, this is a gnosis. Wouldn't be caught dead wearing this ugly thing in public.
Beauty is a waste when the beholder has no taste.
Venti!
Well, we have what we came here for. Come, before our dear Favonian friends arrive. Leave nothing for them to find.
Traveler meets Venti, who suggests they go to Liyue and meet the Geo Archon at the Rite of Ascension.
Whoa, look at all the people! We gotta get up front. We can't see squat back here.
Okay, so that was Mondstadt. Again, that was 2020 when I played that. That was just about 3 years ago, playing that story quest. And it was a lot of fun. It was a really good prologue for the game. It made the Fatui and the Abyss both interesting obstacles. We can just go around, Paimon. You don't have to cut right through. Yeah, Ning Wang.
The hour is upon us.
Rich Mommy. Ningguang was on my team. Ningguang was a permanent fixture of my team for a good long while. I think for all of you.
Rex Lapis has been killed. Seal the exits.
Ooh.
They're here! Arrest them! There's nowhere to run!
Hey, buddy. Hold still.
Yeah, there he is. Again, making a new appearance in the 4.0 trailer.
Stop!
Because he's still out there and active in the world.
Come with me.
The only two Fatuus who are done are La Senora and the Balladeer. Scaramouche. Child, a Fatui Harbinger, gives the traveler a sigil of permission and asks them to seek justice from Adepti to prove their innocence. After meeting the Adepti, Child introduces the traveler to Zhongli.
Welcome back, sir. You honor us with your patronage. Mr. Zhongli is awaiting your arrival in the room you booked.
Hi.
The traveler helps Zhongli prepare for the rite of parting for Rex Lapis. After the preparation, Ningguang invites the traveler to her Jade Chamber. I remember loving Zhongli right away. I liked Child a lot, and the first time seeing the Jade Chamber, I was stunned. I went in relatively blind, so I did not know that Zhongli was Rex Lapis. That was a big shock for me when I found out. I'll get there in a second, obviously, but this is a new star. Is this going to talk about the 1.0 event? No. Wasn't a new star the 1.0? I guess not. Traveler learns of a suspicious Fatui location. After investigating, the traveler returns to the city. They find the Millilith and Fatui everywhere. The traveler suspects Child is up to something and rushes to the Golden House. Leading to an awesome fight. this 3-part fight.
Not bad. Your swordsmanship.
And this form, we actually see Child re-enter this form in the 4.0 trailer, which was awesome. And it makes sense. That means that Child still has his electro delusion.
It's quite impressive. But that's about as far as you'll get.
He went to go
Didn't
steal
think you
the...
had that card hidden up your sleeve.
You were just playing it to get close to the Exuvia!
Oh, quiet
Exuvia, the
down.
corpse
Stop
of-
acting like some wide-eyed recruit. You've seen this world. You of all people should know. This should have been expected.
To steal the Geonosis.
Well then, I'll be taking more Axis Gnosis now. I see. Well, this is
I love
most
his mask.
unexpected. You beat me to it, didn't you?
And I've seen this particular scene many times. Every time I fight him. Just looks so damn cool, his third fight phase. The spectral electro cape and the mask are just so cool. The Talia Child, the 11th party.
This is going to cost you!
It was a really cool fight. Cool scene, and the smoke clears and his eyes glowing up. After failing to obtain the Gnosis, Child unleashes Asile, who is the Asile of the Vortex, a god who has been sealed under the Guyun Stone Forest since the Archon War. Hoping Rex Lapis would show himself. And again, this was really cool. I remember this being one of my favorite scenes in the game. Until we got to Inazuma and Sumeru, this was it for a while.
Let's see. Will the nation that has lost its deity be swallowed up by an ancient malice once more? If you wish to drown together with the people of Liyue, you're free to stay and enjoy the show.
Huh? He's already gone! That guy is fast! What's going on?
So freaking cool.
Yep.
So cool. And Ningguang used her magic to summon the Guizhong Ballistas. See, why can't we have our Ningguang do that? That's like some 5-star Ningguang stuff right there. Kuching, Mountain Carver, Mountain Shaper Moon Carver, Conqueror of Demons. Ganyu and Cloud Retainer. And now that we know the history of the Guizhong Ballistas,
The Fatui! They're attacking the Guizhong Ballista!
cool.
The interlopers are no more. Now we may commit ourselves fully.
Friggin' Kamehameha. But is not enough.
It's working! We just need to keep this up!
Tell me this just wasn't one of the coolest friggin' moments. Thanks, Conqueror of Demons. Oh, and Madame Pig's here.
Be careful now.
The Guizhong Ballista is destroyed. Without its covering fire, retaliation shall be difficult.
But the Jade Chamber is our last line of defense. We can't give another inch, no matter what.
I have another idea.
What do you mean, Lady Ningguang?
I'll sacrifice the Jade Chamber.
What is the meaning of this?
I understand.
Traveler, lend me a hand. Farewell, old friend. Goodbye for now. Let us meet again.
Again,
in the future.
this is just another power that the Traveler seems that he's channeling the power of the Adeptus. And this was a scene I learned to love in retrospect. I mean, I loved it in the moment because freaking look at that. The idea of this scene is that it was the moment when the humans of the of Liyue Harbor and the Adepti supplanted Rex Lapis Morax, sorry, and took over symbolically. They said that they were going to take over and work together, but that was the moment in my mind that they truly supplanted him and replaced him, because as we learned later, in a few seconds, Zhongli was actually Morax, and Zhongli's ultimate attack, the attack that we assume he used to originally seal Osile, was dropping meteors. And this was them dropping the Jade Chamber like a meteor. I thought that was just a cool parallel. After the battle, the Traveler finds Zhongli, Child, and Signora at Northland Bank, Queen of the Baddies. It turns out Zhongli was the Geo Archon. I was truly shocked by this. I did not know this going in, and I loved it. Thought it was such a cool reveal. And there were a lot of clues going into it. But I thought it was great. He hands over the Gnosis to Signora as per his contract with the Cryo Archon. Really cool. One thing I do hope we get eventually, I hope she'll be back in some form. I know I'm on that copium train of hoping Signora returns. Going back to the Fatui's Winter Night Lazzo, the checkmate is not the end of the game, that whole idea. I think she is truly well and dead, because they're like, the old world shall be your resting place. Your sacrifice will not be in vain, Loafelter, all of that. So I obviously really do want her to come back in some way. I don't expect it, though. The one thing I do want is I want us to get this weapon. I wanted this to be a cryo catalyst weapon. I mean, just look at the spinning gear inside. It's so cool. I want us to get that. Yeah, I think that would be dope. I think that would be a really cool catalyst weapon. That's just me. I know. The Traveler attends the rite of parting and talks with Zhongli. Zhongli advises the Traveler to visit Inazuma. The nation is currently closed to outsiders. Some days later, Catherine mentions a blonde person in Mondstadt who might help the Traveler in finding their sibling. The This is where we meet the Bowkeeper, Dainsleif. Obviously, all of the people of Conria, Dainsleif, they have names that relate to like old Frankish names, like old Viking rule and old like I know what was it, Caribert and Clothar are in the ancestral line of King Charlemagne, and I've heard some theories that equate Kaya to Charlemagne. We'll deal into that later, but Dainsleif. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. We now know that Conria, because there is this big thing. I'm blanking on the name of the king of Conria. But it's essentially, it's another translation of Odin. You know, the god of Norse mythology, father of Zeus, and so on and so forth. Oh, it's Ermin, King Ermin. Ermin is a translation of Odin. That was it, because Ermin's tree is Ermin's soul. Ermin's soul would be the tree of Odin. And they mentioned that the way, in mythology, the way Odin got his knowledge, it became so knowledgeable, is he hung from the boughs, upside down, he hung from the boughs of the world tree for 9 days and absorbed its knowledge. And if you look after the Act 5 of the Sumeru Archon quest, after the stuff with Nahida and Rukkhadevata, in your key item inventory is a branch, and the synopsis of that branch is talking of a sage who hung from the branches of Irminsul. And I think that's King Ermin, the king of Conria. Now, Dainsleif is the Bowkeeper. Being like a branch of the tree would be my guess. And we know that from the symbolism of Rukkhadevata and Nahida, a branch could be symbolic of like a child. The child of King Irminsul. I don't think it's a biological. I think it's an adoptive child, and I think that's our sibling, which is why that he was the royal, because we know he was a royal guard, and he traveled with our sister. I think he was the Bowkeeper. If Ermin represented Irminsul and our sister or our sibling represented a branch or a bough of Irminsul, it could be our sibling. That's why Dane traveled with them as the knight. Yeah, that's just my thought there. That's why it's called Bowkeeper Dainsleif. He agrees to the traveler to investigate some ruins in search of an Abyss Herald that Dane was tracking. And I think this was the first time you run into an Abyss Herald. And it was the water one, right? Some days later, the traveler and Paimon find the Abyss ruins in Liyue. They find the inverted statue of the Seven. We now know a lot more after the Caribert quest line that this was essentially an attempt to recreate the Crystal of the Sinner. And was part of the Loom of Fate operation. While escaping the ruins, the traveler encounters the Abyss Herald who attempts to stop them, leading to another amazing cutscene. No, they inform Dane about this. The two decide to investigate the Abyss Order activity in Liyue. No, is that after this? That is after this. During this time, Dane talks of the nation of Conria that was destroyed 500 years ago. They soon discover the Abyss Order's plan called the Loom of Fate, which we know a little bit more from the Caribert quest line. That Caribert is the Loom of Fate, or has become the Loom of Fate. The thing that can... Again, I'm sorry for pausing so much. I just got theories coming out the wazoo. Loom of Fate implies weaving fate. Setting fate in motion, you know? And that's what the Abyss is trying to do. They're trying to control fate to restore Conria, or maybe, in my opinion, which is why I think the quest line with Scaramouche in Sumeru is so important. The Abyss is trying to change fate, and that's what the Loom of Fate is. They're trying to rewrite Irminsul, rewrite fate to restore Conria and undo the curses. That's my opinion about what's going on. Anyway, they return to the ruins to destroy the inverted statue. The same Abyss Herald halts their progress. Was that Enjo, or is that a different one? Here's the awesome cutscene. Also, this is the first time we see this energy. We've seen white, which represents light, from the Traveler and their sibling in the beginning of the game, and we've seen darkness from the Abyss Heralds. This is the first time we've seen this blue energy that still has yet to be explained. I think that's the power of fate or destiny. And Lumine with the cool blade. She still has her light powers because, again, in my opinion, the sibling has already traveled to all seven nations and reclaimed all of their powers, thus reacquiring the power of light. And in this case, maybe the light and dark.
Princess.
Traveler asks the sibling to stop and return home with them. The sibling declines and states they will only leave once the Abyss Order defeats the heavenly principles. Again, I'm getting strong Lucifer parallels here. Rebellious angel. Fallen angel. They reveal that Dane is a royal guard from Conria who was cursed with immortality. And this is yet to be explained.
But we need not rush, brother. I have more than enough time to wait for you. We have always had enough time.
We do not go through because we lack the power to go through that portal. My thing is, Dane went through. And the next time we see Dane during the Chasm quest, to my knowledge, he does not explain what happened after he went through. Anyway, to reach the next station, the Traveler asks Beidou to take them in Inazuma. We meet Kazuha Kaidahara, a wanted fugitive from Inazuma who's carrying a masterless vision after his friend passed away. He wants to reawaken the masterless vision.
He was once a good friend of mine. One day he asked me about a sword art of which he had heard, the Musono Hitotachi. I told him it can only be witnessed when divine punishment is administered. It is the pinnacle of the Raiden Shogun's skill, a symbol of ultimate power. But he replied, there must be one who can withstand it. There will always be those who dare to brave the lightning's glow.
Such a hard line.
Then, the Vision Hunt decree arrived. People's aspirations were stripped away as the Raiden Shogun began to construct her ideal of eternity. While I was fleeing from place to place, I heard that my friend had challenged the Vision Hunters to a duel before the throne. A solemn yet brutal challenge. The defeated face divine punishment, while the victors gain a second chance. Perhaps he thought he of all people should make a stand. Coming face to face with the Musono Hitotachi was all that he truly desired, after all. When I arrived at Tenshukaku, the duel was over. I heard his sentence of divine punishment, his
Who
severed
did he
blade
duel?
hitting the ground.
Did he duel the Raiden Shogun?
Perhaps that was the glory he had yearned to witness. In his last moments, what expression was on his face? Before I knew it, I had stepped forward and snatched the dying vision and was running from the scene. All I knew was that I mustn't let his hope, which burned so brightly, become buried among the ice-cold statue of a god.
And the vision went dark. After some days, the traveler boards Beto's ship to reach Inazuma. A lot of people with eye patches on this ship. I'm just saying, I go. Beto. Pirate mommy. The baddie of the seven seas. Again, and this, I felt like the quest before this with the tournament dragged a little bit, but just that scene of us setting sail, it sparks adventure in you. And I will say this shot, just sailing seas, just seeing a person standing on the bow of the ship, wind blowing their clothes, it sparks that, like, this is a tale of adventure kind of story. This first shot of Inazuma, the sakura trees in the background, the glowing purple of the shrine up top, obviously the reds and the yellows and the oranges of the trees amidst the clearly Japanese-inspired housing, Inazuma City in the background, it really set a striking tone. Boy Toma. The one event I'm still waiting to see, to this day, I'm still waiting to see Toma and his return to Mondstadt. We know Toma was born there, but came to Inazuma at a young age. I still want to see Toma's return to Mondstadt. For a festival, maybe he goes with Ayato and Ayaka and I guess Sayu. I'm trying to think who's in the core of that group. And maybe, I don't know, invite you and Mia. And they all go to Mondstadt for Wind Bloom or for Vine Laser Fest or something. I think that would be really cool.
Ahoy there.
The traveler meets Toma, who helps them enter Inazuma City. Toma explains the embedded gems in the statue are visions confiscated under the Vision Hunt Decree. They soon meet Ayaka, who agrees to arrange a meeting with the Raiden Shogun. At some point, the traveler spends the day helping Ayaka, and that was a really cute event. With the mass... Oh, we're getting wet socks! Awesome. It was technically a story cutscene, so that's true.
Oh, traveler.
Huh?
There's something that I'd
I'm gonna
like to
take a
do.
quick bio break during
If you
wet
could spare
socks.
me at another moment.
Just watch the good dance. It's a great scene. So I've watched it like 3 times, so I'm good.
Please, keep your eyes on me.
Just in time for the execution. Was there anything else in there? Sorry. Wet socks. Tome was captured. That was it. Okay.
Capable of using elemental energy without a vision. You are an exception.
And exceptions are the enemy of eternity.
Exceptions. The enemy of eternity. You will be inlaid upon this statue.
Still, such a cool scene entering the plane of Euthymia. And the first fight with the Raiden Shogun where all your powers are turned off. I happen to have the Traveler in my party. But when it wasn't until later that I watched other people do playthroughs that I learned that everyone is shut down. Because you're not forced to have the Traveler, so there's a real chance you're just screwed, which is great. Love it. Could easily chase after them.
Shogun, who was that?
Seize him under the decree. Next time, I will strike twice.
Tome asked the Traveler to go find the Resistance army as they would protect the Traveler at Watatsumi Island. During the journey, Tepe, soldier of the Resistance. Soon after the Traveler joins the Resistance in fighting Shogunate. Again, awesome cutscene. Inazuma stepped up the quality of cutscenes. I'd say that last cutscene, this one, and then the final cutscene. And you know what? And Wet Socks. So 4 truly remarkable cutscenes in the Inazuma storyline.
Stand firm! Hold the line!
Goro the good boy. The general strategist of Watatsumi Island.
Her Excellency!
The wait is over, my comrades. Now is our moment.
Calm as the breeze, my lady.
Kazuha and Beto was there too, right? Yeah. There she
I
is.
just hope you can afford all these mercs you've gathered.
Kazuha!
We meet again, old friend.
Love it.
Retreat!
I don't love Kujou Sara's... Like, I don't mind Kujou Sara's playstyle. And I like Kujou Sara. I feel like she hasn't really gotten a limelight yet. A good showing yet. While being with the Resistance, they uncovered the Fatui has been supplying soldiers with delusions for use in combat. Tepe dies, caused by overusing a delusion, I should say, fueled the traveler's anger, prompting him to infiltrate Inazuma's delusion factory. That was a bummer. I really liked Tepe. In there, the traveler meets with Scaramouche, a Fatui harbinger. He was the 6th seed, right?
That's it. Just like that. Embrace the anger. Embrace it! The wrath of the gods fills this factory, and it feeds on your anger.
You know what? I haven't watched these scenes since learning about his backstory, and that it's interesting. Anyway, after rescuing the traveler, Yamiko prepares them to confront the Raiden Shogun and stop the Vision Hunt. This I didn't care for, with the training to block the attacks, and it was just kind of a lull. The traveler, she asked the traveler to talk to the real Electro Archon A inside the plane of Euthymia. She also exposed that the Fatui are the ones behind this, and how Sarah's clan had colluded with them. Driven by anger, Sarah storms into Tenchukaku, but is defeated by Signora, who is meeting Raiden Shogun. The traveler challenged Signora to a duel before the throne, where the loser will be killed. Bummer of a fight. So, if I remember correctly, Signora is the Crimson Witch of Embers. That's actually her true form. But she's too hot and insane, basically. So she uses a cryo delusion to calm her down and keep her focused. So we actually fought her in her delusion form first, before fighting her in her true form. Rosaline Locata. And it's such a crazy looking form.
So strong, but how?
And I remember as soon as this happened, I was worried that we were going to have to do a gauntlet and fight her immediately.
I am a Snezhnayan diplomat. You know what happens if you lay a finger on me. Swear, if you strike me, I will make sure. The Fatui will make sure that your precious Inazuma... Stop! I order you! And you! Filthy rats! All of you!
I love this. Tries to do... I'm just realizing... Now... Poor Sienna. I'm realizing this now, watching it back to back. She was trying to do to Raiden Shogun what she did to Venti. She was trying to jam the hand through her to steal her Gnosis. But, you know, a lot stronger than Venti. Still actively an Archon. Turned to ash. Huge heartbreak.
You are the enemy of eternity. But as the victor, I acknowledge your honor. Therefore, I shall allow you to leave Tenshukaku alive.
As the traveler leads. And I also think this. This is A being petty, right here. Or Raiden Shogun being petty. A is still in the plane of Euthymia. I'll let you leave Tenshukaku alive. Awesome. As soon as I leave Tenshukaku, she immediately attacks. So she kept her word, just barely. Oh, you let Tenshukaku alive? Alright, time to die. And this scene. With a split-second use...
There will always be those who dare to brave the lightning's glow.
So cool. Part of me also wonders, Was it Kazuha who did that? Hear me out. Kazuha's friend, the vision reacted to his will, which is why we heard his words. So is it Kazuha just remembering his friend, seeing maybe another friend get lost to the Muso no Hirotachi, that reawakened his memories of his friend? Or was it that the vision still had some small piece of his friend in it that spurned Kazuha forward? Just something that might float in my brain. Because we still don't know what visions are. We're told, hey, they represent your powers. How? Who picks? Do they just decide who gets it? And everyone decides to attack. And all these visions are reacting to will the same way Kazuha's second vision reacted to his You know what? I don't think Inazuma missed. Inazuma just hit at every level in terms of like story and cutscene.
Again.
A accepts the Traveler's challenge to change her mind about the Vision Hunt Decree and the two battle, leading to another banger cutscene with the visions shining through.
Dear me, aren't you cutting it rather close? Hmm?
Miko, this was your doing?
Now. Don't forget who taught you how to place your consciousness in objects. Surely you don't think your ambition alone is enough to shake A's will, do you?
But what about the
Though
will
you
of all?
alone are here, they too have ambitions, which
Who
they
is
long
he?
since entrusted to you. Now then, close your eyes.
The way I interpreted this scene was we're channeling their ambition and their will. And these stars are their visions. Their wishes, stars. Yeah.
We can abolish the Vision Hunt Decree.
As the defeated one, A agrees to stop the Vision Hunt Decree and return everyone's visions. However, she mentions that she was doing the right thing to pursue eternity.
When lightning flashes, it casts a shadow. My name means shadow.
Because she was the shadow of Makoto.
With my blade, I purged all obstacles to progress.
I still want to know more about this fella. What do we know? I think it was Oroboshi, right? And that was the god of Watatsumi. And it was killed on the third island. I don't remember what that was called. But there's still the gorge where the Muso no Hitotachi hit. And it's permanently tainted by Electro, and you can see his skeleton all over. But I believe it's said in the lore of Enkanomiya, the reason Orobashi challenged the Raiden Shogun and was ordered to be put down by Celestia was because he read the unaltered history of the world. Orobashi knew the truth of the world. And that's why he was put down. Perhaps on the orders of the heavenly principles, because no one can know the truth of the world. I don't know. I'm very intrigued to learn more about it, though.
And yet, something...
We still don't know a lot about this. Obviously, fighting this, it looks a lot like Oz. I'm just going to say that. And I want to know more about this being. This is the one on the southernmost island. The island covered in mist. And I want to know more about it.
Step forward.
Weapon.
In the end, I even lost her. The tales are still retold in the shade of every Thunder Sakura.
And I remember that story. The day Makoto died during the Archon War was the day the first Thunder Sakura appeared in Inazuma.
But the wounds left on our nation by that terrible loss still ache. Never stop searching, even if only for a brief flash of light. If nothing else, we have the present moment. She said that once. But I've seen a nation stride forward and lose everything to the heavenly principles.
Obviously, Conria, the boxes.
Perhaps only if time stands still will the lightning's glow never fade. The present moment is a fragile illusion.
She didn't want to lose the light. She wanted to capture and make the light and memory of her sister permanent. Hence her
only eternity can bring us closer to the heavenly principles. I am no longer the shadow. Mine is the most supreme and noble form. Let power over the realm be vested within me. In this form shall I honor my subjects' dream, for a land of eternity, unchanging forevermore.
Ye responds that A's decision was causing more harm than good, and she had to put a stop to it. She was harming her own citizens.
As promised, the Raiden Shogun abolished the Vision Hunt decree. Finally, her people's wishes penetrated her locked heart. Beyond the plane of euthymia, she saw what eternity means in the eyes of the world. When one's fervent ambition burns brightly, the gods will cast their gaze upon you. Some ambitions...
These were the three that lost their visions that we had the conversation with, and they... Yeah.
The power to heal wounds.
Goro returns to Watatsumi.
To bring victory.
Toma,
to inspire hope.
Ayaka, and Sayu.
But some ambitions...
I've never gone looking for this grave.
Outlive their masters. Long after the soul
Is that grave
ascends,
still there in the overworld?
They remain as they were in the beginning. Burning bright and true. For all eternity.
And I like this right here. There's still something inside it. Yai informs the Traveler that she gave the Electronosis to Scaramouche in exchange for the Traveler's life. She also, because she says she's powerful, but she says she, if I recall correctly, she doesn't know if she'd be able to win against number 6 of the Tui Harbingers. It was 2 seats stronger than Senora, 5 seats stronger than Child. Ironically, though, I think the 2 I had the most trouble with so far were Child and Segura. I had no problem with Scaramouche. But I lost once to Child. That was, I think, the first death I ever had in the entire game. Was losing to Child because I just went in half-cocked. And La Senora got me once or twice before I adapted to the heat and cold. I'm so curious. Who else are we missing? Obviously, number 1 we know is Jester. Number 2 is Doctor. Number 3, 4, 5 we don't know, but I'm pretty sure we think 3 is Columbina. 6 was Scara. 8 was Senora. 9, 10, 11. I'm very curious where everyone else fits. Arlecchino, I think, is going to be either 7 or 9. And I think we have Pulcinella, Pantalone, Sandrone, Capitano. I can see Capitano being like 4 because they mentioned how he's like one of the strongest. Alright. So he also suggests the Traveler visits Sumeru next. Sometime later, the Traveler meets with Ai, who's struggling to oppose the Raiden Shogun puppet. A initially created the Shogun puppet to pursue eternity, but now that she's abolished the Vision Hunt decree, the puppet fears that A is losing her will due to erosion and sees A as a threat to eternity. A and the puppet face against each other in Makoto's realm of consciousness and fight for the equivalent of centuries. After the battle, A kicks the Traveler out of the realm, but they re-enter it with Yai's help. After the first battle, and then centuries later, that's right. Man, Inazuma did not miss. Before the Thunder Sakura is the building of Inazuma City.
Remember to focus constantly on your heartfelt wishes when you enter inside. Only if you are strong enough can I deliver you to the right destination.
And all the different matches they've had. And every one of those shards, the different instances of combat. A emerges victorious and the puppet acknowledges that A is not suffering from erosion and allows her to make changes to Inazuma. Soon after Makoto, A's twin, the previous Electro Archon appears from A's sword.
The light turned into a seed?
The miracle tree that blesses the people, in this moment new to the world and yet to be known. When to plant it, where it shall bloom. She who brings it into being must let her heart and dreams decide. Grant it life, A. Is it really?
Again, I like the, parallel. It's something left behind to her by her lost sister.
Eternity extends time into infinity.
Left behind to Kazuha, yeah.
Dreams illuminate each moment within. When both shine in unison, the sacred Sakura blooms from the darkness, finally free from the clutches of the heavenly principles. Now the nightmare has dissipated, and reality is made whole. The vision we both yearn for is still further ahead. My only regret is that I cannot witness Inazuma's future, nor can I walk this journey with you.
Beautiful.
Do you know, A? I am so happy right now, because my final wish has now come true. Your polearm once protected me from countless calamities. For this, I've always felt indebted to you. Though I could never repay you in full, this sacred Sakura will buy you some time until you are ready to awaken and embrace the new. What do you think? Did it do the trick? This time, it really is goodbye.
So good.
A.
God, that's so beautiful.
Goodbye, Makoto.
After emerging from the realm, A establishes the Sakoku decree and opens the nation of Inazuma to outsiders. Since the next destination is Sumeru, they pass through Liyue and help Ningguang rebuild the Jade Chamber. Along the way, meeting Shenhe. Memory serves. Osial's wife. Is that right?
Right on cue. The Avenger of the Vortex.
Yeah.
Beisht.
Who is that?
Osial's wife. Final follower of the Overlord of the Vortex.
Sounds like you knew this was coming.
Beto sensed something was stirring in the deep. She warned me months ago. Knowing she harbors hatred toward the Jade Chamber, I chose to rebuild it now as a way of drawing her out.
Beisht.
Got it. Well, let's go fetch the Adepti.
No. In this human age, the people of Liyue must find a way to overcome this crisis on our strength
God,
alone.
you're such a baddie. I mean, seriously, Ming Wong's a 4-star character, but in canon, this is like some 8-star shit, right? Look at this. All the Guizhong ballistas that have been planted. Also, I do want to say, I forgot to mention it back here in We Will Be Reunited. But I think it's only because I think it's going to come up again, and this scene reminded me of it. In that quest, the Abyss were talking about harvesting the body of Osial and combining it with the machine, the ancient field tiller machines, to create a god-bounded machine. And obviously that sounds very similar to Scaramouche in his god form, but I think that's going to come back at the end. I think we're going to see something similar to Osial or Beisht, as they are mixed with Conruian technology. I still believe that's a possibility. Pelted by rocks from Ningguang. The Guizhong ballistas from the Guiyang Stone Forest.
All hands! Tsunami incoming!
What's that? Wait! A giant wave!
Nope. Just denied.
You are a cursed child. Your life brings nothing but disaster to us all. At least if you die, I can bring her back.
The day you learn how to use your strength for the good of others is the day that you can truly become part of human society.
Again, this was another really cool story. So friggin' cool. Oh, damn. And then in the vortex, you fight Beisht with Shenhe, and it's the platform, and it's popping up, and you're fighting its head. That was a fun fight. After defeating Beisht, the traveler continues their journey through to Sumeru, through the chasm where they meet Dane for just the biggest bummer in all of Genshin Impact. Halfdan was the best. They encounter a Conrian person named Halfdan, who's taken over by his curse and continues to perform his duties. Again, wearing the Conrian star. Again, there's a really complex theory saying that the king of Conria, which was a nation that existed a little over 500 years ago, and Ermin, was actually King Deshret. Because in every interpretation, we've never seen King Deshret in human form. In every image, in all iconography ever depicting King Deshret, he is depicted as a black sun, or a black star. And what is the symbol of Conria? A black star. Could be interesting, could be nothing, could be cool. If he returned, and there's all kinds of allegory that Deshret is obviously related to King Solomon. I went down like a rabbit hole and was reading this whole thing between all the Deshret iconography and King Solomon. Like, King Solomon dealt with the Jinn, and his enemy were the demons of the Ars Goetia, who are the demon gods. But also he dealt with the Jinn. We know that Deshret was tied closely with the Jinn from the Golden Slumber quest, and its sequel quest. He also was very closely related to King Solomon was related to Queen of Sheba, who had the exact same name as the Queen of, as in Genshin, the Goddess of Flowers. Queen of Sheba was also known as Bilqis. The Dirge of Bilqis is the quest where you find the resting place of the Goddess of Flowers, the Eternal Oasis, all of that. So again, the parallels there are incredibly strong, and a lot of people think that, or I think, and based on this theory that I read that I think is really cool, that King Deshret could have returned as Ermin and become the head of Conria, because yeah. Danon, the Traveler, tried to stop the Abyss Rider's harmful plan to remove the curse on Conrians.
The amplification device.
They don't do any Enconomia stuff. I find it interesting.
Am I too late? They're in agony. This is no way for them to meet their end. Find a way to stop that thing.
Alright, so they don't really specify. They're not really specifying that the chasm is where hilichurls go to end. That hilichurls are recurring monsters in the wild, but some hilichurls are the cursed citizens of Conria, reborn time and time again in an endless cycle of death and violence as these wild, mindless beasts due to the curse of the wilderness. And when they choose to end, they go to a deep, cold place like the chasm, and they melt and turn into this goo, which is this entropic symbol of the end. Yeah. And all the knights here, like Halfdan, are mindless knights who suffer from immortality, but due to erosion of their memories, have just become violent.
Yeah. Halfdan, don't do it!
I wish we could get more of that story, too.
Huh? Huh? Light.
apologies, Captain Dainsleif, Twilight Sword. Back then, I failed you, and failed to protect our people.
No. For 500 years, you have faithfully done your duty. To this day, I am proud of you all.
Conria didn't fall, did it? Since you're still here.
Correct.
Heartbreaking. This was such a good quest.
So, no need to revive the homeland.
Which is what the Abyss seeks. Some days later, the travelers meet Kuki Shinobu and Arataki Ito, who are following Yanfei in the chasm. Yelan and Zhao join, but the entire group becomes trapped in a mysterious space. Oh, and Ushi the Bull! Ultimately, they find a device with which they try to escape.
Stars align, bestow your light. Evil purged by thunder's might. Spirit curbed, pneuma surged.
Wait.
By dicta.
Wait.
By thunder's might. Spirit curbed, pneuma.
Pneuma. Checking my notes for today. Wiza and Pneuma were the two parts of, like power sources of Arche, which is the power source of Fontaine. Pneuma was around back here. Oh.
A surge. By dictum divine, heed these words. Do as I command.
Maybe it has something to do with
Fantastic
Hydro?
Compass is an amplifier. Maintain this energy level, and we may stand a chance.
I will maintain the energy flow.
Understood.
Everyone, stand back.
This is the cool stuff with Zhao's former Yaksha.
I shall hold the line by sealing the surface.
As Yakshas, we must fight for this world. General Alatus, falling in!
I still hope one or more of the other Yaksha will eventually appear in the game. We know that one of them lost his mind, two of them were killed.
Watch out!
This trip may be dangerous, yet you insist on going.
I have guarded this place for several hundred years. Only to seek the nameless Yaksha do I request your approval.
That's karma or darkness, whatever you want to call it.
You can't keep this up. Your strength won't last.
Vigilant Yaksha, no! Are we gonna see the cutscene with the other... Yeah, Zhongli. I don't know why that was part of this. I wouldn't really consider it like a necessary story point. It was cool. Right, the vision of the destruction of Irminsul, World Forget Me. This is obviously less than a year old, so it's fresh in my mind. Well, this is about 1 year ago. Never mind, right? It was last August. Soon after, Tignari treats the Traveler and explains Kale's Elisar disease to them. In the city, the Traveler receives an Akasha terminal. They try and ask around about the Dendro Archon Kusanali, but find out the Academia still prays with the previous Archon, Ruka Devata. A person named Dunyarzad, yeah, Dunyarzad, Sarah's Elazar, informs the Subservience Festival celebrates Kusanali's birthday. Since Nahida Kusanali is a branch of Ruka Devata, was Ruka Devata still Bur, the god of wisdom? And I don't know. The Traveler Archon finds out about items linked to the Dendro Archon is being traded in Port Ormos. We make knowledge capsules containing divine knowledge that some Eremites are interested in due to the rumors of the Scarlet King's resurrection. We meet up with the Lord of Sanganamia Bay and Academia Scribe Alhetham for the first cool cutscene.
Academia scum! Boss! Finally! Did you use it? Great! Now we can... Boss? What's wrong?
What happened to him?
We have to cut his Akasha connection, now.
This I consider one of the first main cutscenes of Sumeru. Slaps.
Target acquired. Arrest him.
Do not impede our work. Is that understood, Alhaitham?
Of course. I was only trying to help.
Take him away.
May the world completely forget me, right? The Traveler returns to Sumeru City in the hopes of attending the Subzerus Festival and meeting Kusanali. However, on the day of the festival, they are trapped in a repeated dream of the same festival day. Some Subzerus Samsara. Eventually, they realize that the sages are using the Akasha terminals to steal people's dreams. With the help from Nahida, they finally figure out how to break it and inform Neela, who's unaware she's the one causing it all. Well, she's the center of the dream. However, the repeated dreams turned to be too exhausting for Dunyarzad, and the Traveler assumed she passed away. In reality, she was just too weak to continue. The Sabzeruz Samsara, Act 2 of Sumeru's Archon quest was so different. And I get why people don't like it, because it's repeating the same thing over and over again. I think it's a brilliant turn of storytelling. I think it was so creative and fun, and seeing the tiny differences and using strategic puzzles, even if it wasn't the most engaging and fun, I still find it fascinating from a storytelling, world-building perspective. Like, seeing Dia's scar and learning that, using our knowledge of the previous loops, but then Dia starts getting better with it, showing she now has muscle memory of it. It's really fascinating and was a really cool trick of storytelling. Yeah. And it had the Duke scene. What else could you want? And then this dance was great. Like, Mondstadt and Liyue had some good scenes. Inazuma and Sumeru had
Wait is over, everyone.
cutscenes.
I dedicate this to our god.
Beautiful. And the
dance
music
of
in this.
Sabzeruz.
The music during the dance, especially when it kicks in. Right here. Oh yeah. And the dream is fading away as and I'd like to think that all the people of Sumeru maintain and preserved this dream. Because Junior Zod saw this
I'd be
dream.
lying if I said I had no regrets. I would have loved to see Nilou's dance.
I was choked up during that bit. Junior Zod was a great NPC. Like, I like Tepe, but Junior Zod is currently the best NPC in my opinion. Sorry, Timmy. Sorry, Glory or Anna. None of you beat Junior Zod. Maybe the one during the R&R quest, she was pretty cool, but to find out the Grand Sage's plan, Nahida and the Traveler manipulate Sataria, the Grand Sage's subordinate, to obtain documents. During this time, Nahida takes over the body of Catherine. Did you mention it? Nope. And this is where we get the huge lore drop. Everyone had been theorizing about who or what Catherine was for years. The keyhole on the back of her neck, her weird processing moments, her odd dialogue, her ability to be in multiple places at once, and Nahida drops the bombshell that she's a bioengineered Shneznayan puppet, which I have a theory about. So everyone in the Fatui Harbingers has a different task in addition to their other, like, the doctor's in charge of research. We know that. Signora was seemingly in charge of the forces, the overseas forces. But like, Puccinella is the mayor. Pantalon runs the bank, the Northland Bank. Capitano controls some of their forces that are actively engaged against Grandmaster Varka in Natlan. Jester rules it all the Fatui. So they all have, Arlecchino runs the orphanage where future Fatui members are recruited from. They all have jobs. I believe Sandrone's job is intelligence and gathering information for the Fatui. And in addition to, like, spies and people of that nature, I think the Catherines are how she does it. Because the Catherines are the point of contact for every adventurer at every adventure guild. So that means every adventurer into that is known to Catherine and therefore Sandrone. Every job they do every problem in every town is known because of all the commissions and requests. They all go through the Adventuring Guild and Catherine. So Centrone now knows what's going on in every single city. She knows what's going on with every single adventurer. And I think it makes so much sense for a puppeteer to be an information spy master. And I think that's brilliant. Right? And this scene was obviously really cool with the clapping people and the introduction of the Doctor. On the night when they arrived to collect the documents. It's crazy. This was
What are
one.
these people doing here at this hour of the night?
That was one. That was two. All of this was three.
The triumphant hero returns
All
at
of this was
last.
It's getting bigger and bigger.
And to a rather spectacular welcome, even if I do say so myself.
You're the outcast, expelled from the academia.
Indeed I am. Although these days they tend to call me the Doctor.
You're the Doctor.
If you're looking for your researcher friend, she has already been taken into confinement. With some basic caution, she could have discovered the listening device on her person. Clearly, she lacks the degree of rigor expected of a true scholar.
Remember that Nahida said that Harbingers 1, 2, and 3, so Jester and Dottore, and most likely Columbina, have power rivaling gods. And that boggles and blows the mind. I am shooketh. I can't wait to give a proper fight with Dottore. And that's why I'm a little bummed he destroyed his other segments. I love it. I think it was the smartest thing Nahida could have done, convincing him to destroy his other segments. But I'm like, can you imagine that as a boss fight? Like you're fighting the Doctor when other pieces of the Doctor, it'd basically be like the final fight from Kingdom Hearts 3, where the same person in multiple stages of his life, Old Man Xehanort, Young Xehanort, Xemnas, Ansem Xehanort, where all of them from multiple points in his life are all fighting. That's essentially what the Doctor was. And I think that could have been a really cool boss fight, but I'm sure they're still gonna kill it. It hasn't been confirmed what he is. I think Dottore is a Hydrovision user.
People of Sumeru City. What have you done to them?
I simply made some minor adjustments to their Akasha terminals. Now they can deposit information directly into the subconscious. As you can see, all these lovely people now believe this traveler is a hero who has just saved the world. My experiment is a success. And now it seems they can no longer hold back their sheer adoration.
Oh no, what should we do? These are all just regular people. Leave now. You need to get out of here. But that guy's a Fatui Harbinger. We can't just leave you here. Nor can I abandon the people of Sumeru. Don't worry. We'll meet again outside of the city.
I see. You appear to have overridden their mental faculties with your own consciousness. To possess such a powerful mind, you must be the god of wisdom.
Cool. The traveler decides to meet Tenari for help and runs into Nahida in Catherine's body at Paradise Di. In the greenhouse, they meet Hypatia, who believes herself to have ascended after seeing a vision, which she shows the traveler. And this was
It took
another
3 betrayals for me to
great
finally
vision.
understand. The world is just
Another
an
great
elaborate
cutscene.
tapestry of lies. My fury will never be quelled. The first to betray me was a god. My creator. My mother.
The thing I want more than anything with his story is I want a Scaramouche character story or character quest where he returns and meets Raiden Shogun. I think erasing him from Irminsul was a cop-out. That is one of the few things in this game I vehemently disagree with in terms of storytelling. I think it was a big cop-out. I think it was an easy shortcut to get him to be able to participate in events and stuff and be able to participate in other story things, but I think it was a cop-out and takes away an aspect of his redemption. I think if they truly wanted to redeem him, they need to put in the work to redeem him as a character. And I feel like they're off to a good start, but I want to see...
She saw no worth in me and I was discarded. The second was a human. My family. My friend.
In this, we get a little bit more.
Consumed by fear, he saw me as an abomination.
Is what he believes, but eventually we learn the truth that they were both manipulated by an incarnation of the Doctor to what, like 200 years ago? And he, Kunikabashi, I think was his name then, right? Kunikabashi was tricked into thinking his swordsmith friend sacrificed and murdered an innocent person to give him a heart so he could purify Tatarasuna. And he tore out that heart, but it was actually his best friend's heart that the Doctor ripped out of his corpse after murdering him and convincing Kunikabashi that he ran away. Messed up.
The third was one exactly like me. A hope for the future. A fledgling barely out of the nest. Powerless before his mortality, he broke his promise to me. Humans, they can't be trusted. And the gods fill me with pure loathing. So I said good riddance.
Such a cool.
I denounced the world and laughed in its face. My chest will never again be defiled by worldly filth. I will scrub away every last trace of human emotion. Then it will be empty, a blank slate, and ready to receive a supreme gnosis, brimming with pure divinity. There is no need to fear. The pain will be brief.
And I love this, that the hat glow looks both like his hat and the halo. I love it. When they decide to leave the greenhouse, they're attacked by the Core of 30. And it should be pointed out that these people are not wearing Akasha terminals, so they're doing this of their own free will. That's one thing I did notice, that none of the people that are fighting them here are wearing Akasha terminals, meaning they just murdered Catherine. We temporarily switched bodies. Inside the sanctuary of Surasthana. Nice. So friggin' cool. Nahida had possessed the traveler's body and gotten him to safety with Tenari. However, once Traveler's consciousness returns to their body, Nahida was trapped in the sanctuary of Surasthana because of the Torre. To get Nahida out, the Traveler, along with Al-Haytham, decided to ask for help from the desert area. Candace! Kandake, baby! General Sino, Dia, and Candace. Cool.
Sino.
Sino assumed Al-Haytham to be working with the sages and hence attacked him. While in the desert, the traveler discovers that Dottore was the one behind the rumors of Scarlet King's resurrection. Also, we explored his lab and found some of his records and experiments going back decades, maybe longer, of him doing human experimentation. In Dottore's plans, he asked the Eremites to kidnap the village keepers from Aru village. They were the mad scholars who were exposed to divine knowledge. Mad scholars, yeah. Bringing them back leads to a fight between Dia and Rahman of the Eremites.
Wait, what do you think you're doing? Don't you see this blade here?
Earthquake.
You coward. Why are your hands shaking?
Wait a second. It's a earthquake!
Unexpected, but cool. And I think this leads to one of my favorite 2D cutscenes in all of Genshin. The group find themselves in the ruins, which lead them to discover a transcript from the last priest of the Scarlet King. This right here. Again, so right there, we said, I said earlier when we were looking at Halfdan and the stuff in the chasm, right here, the Requiem of Echoing Deaths, the symbol of the people of Conria is the Black Star, and I mean, this is King Deshret. This, if you look at every painting on the wall, go back to the temples and walk around, and every interpretation of King Deshret is this right here. This is King Deshret. A black star. With the same number of points. I think he has 2 extra points right there, but I mean, like, it's very similar. Like, and with the same jewel in the center. Oddly similar.
Knowledge. But so too can knowledge be its demise.
King Deshret found forbidden knowledge from outside the world. Maybe it was the Abyss, and that's what this is? Maybe? And it infected the world. Everyone,
caught
yeah.
us unaware. It was knowledge that did not belong to this world. The Scarlet King brought this forbidden knowledge into our world, and it quickly spread like a plague. People's minds were filled with crazed whispers. Dark gray scales spread.
And this shot right here of the appearance of Elazar. So yeah, obviously the mad scholars, people went crazy. Dark gray scales spread across their bodies. This interpretation of Elazar on the woman's back, I think, is beautiful.
Across their bodies. Even the land was stripped of its vigor.
And this one's harder to explain. King Deshret's knowledge caused the land to suffer withering because his knowledge was partially taken on by Apep, the Dendro Dragon, and the elemental beings within Apep became corrupted and would turn into tumors of the withering. Right? Am I remembering that correctly? And after Deshret's death, it got worse.
Only a desperate, deathly silence remained. Were it not for Greater Lord Ruka Devata from the forests, the damage would have been irreversible. She summoned the priests to build temples and infused into them the divine power of life. The disaster was miraculously tempered, and the embers of our civilization were preserved in Aru village. Alas, the miracle could not last. As long as forbidden knowledge continued to exist, it would forever blight this world.
Big theory time coming up right here. So again, King Deshret and Ruka Devata.
In the end, the proud king of the desert.
So this is King Deshret sacrificing himself to give Ruka Devata the power to seal away eternal knowledge. But ready? After he sacrificed himself, look what he turns into.
My eternal lord.
A purple crystal. Where have we seen a purple crystal? Just saying. Remember this.
Chose to sacrifice himself. I have spent my whole life since guarding one of these many temples. But now, my duty is coming to an end.
And this is cool. And obviously, the implication here is Sino is descendant of the priests of Deshret.
As I close my eyes for the final time, the sight of that noble deity will appear in my vision once more. In helping the Scarlet King to eradicate forbidden knowledge,
Beautiful.
She exhausted her strength, and her form became that of a small child. How strange. Now that I think of her, I no longer have any fear of death, for I sense that the spirit of life will abide with me during my eternal sleep.
Which is why that tomb was overgrown with
Children
life.
of the desert, cling no longer to past grievances, but hold tight to the memory of this act of benevolence.
Ramon realizes that the people made the Dendro Archon an enemy despite her being their savior. With Ramon's help, the group finds out that the sages are creating a new god, with Dottoro's assistance. The group soon formulates a plan to stop the sages next Nyagarbahade, yep. Nyagarbahade. Got him. Candace, Sino, and Dia. And Alhetham. Some days later, the Traveler and Dia meet with Tenari, who informs them Dottore has left Sumeru. A day later, Alhetham and Traveler are taken by Azar into his office, where Alhetham pretends to betray the Traveler. Azar confronts Alhetham about his plan, provoking a furious response. All according to Keikaku, though.
Well, what do we have here? So you stole that divine knowledge capsule. Traitor! You traitor! Even the most rational scholar will yearn for the power of a god in a moment of desperation. Aren't you doing the exact same thing as me, Alhetham? Unfortunately for you, no god will lend you their power. Azar! He has gone completely insane.
Bonk. Oh, what he actually did was switch the capsule
Take
on
him
the
to the
desk.
Matra and exile him to Aru village. Then find someone to take these two to the confinement room. I'll deal with them later.
Solitary confinement.
Grand Sage, we've finished all required preparations for Nyagarbahade. We may begin to enter the capsules now.
Excellent. You may begin.
During the incident, Alhetham adds his own knowledge capsule to Azar's table, for Nigarbaha's security protocol. In the confinement room, the traveler connects with Nahida's consciousness and breaks it free, awakening her. As the plan progresses, Nilo advances towards the entrance of academia for her part. Public display of art. I like the concept of Nilo. I feel like it's just not all there, but I love every
I've never
dance she
seen a
does.
performance like this. This is incredible.
Yeah, but I heard that public performances like these have been banned. I can't believe she's doing this here.
Grand Sage, there's some commotion outside.
Huh. How uninteresting. Issue the new Prohibition Act from the Akasha to the guards. They'll know what to do. Do you think we should, stop her?
Let's just watch for a little bit longer.
King of Sips right there. Oh my gosh. All public acts are banned. Oh wait, what I mean to say is Lesser Lord Kusanagi has escaped. Go to the city and detain her immediately. That's what I meant to say. Cool. And that means it worked. With no more guards, Dia frees the traveler and Sino confronts Azar in the sanctuary. Says, hey, no one's supposed to be in there, not even you, Azar. Therefore you broke your own rules, therefore you're under arrest. And he freed Nahida. Traveler and Nahida soon make their way to stop the false god. Right there, setting up a great twist and a really cool moment that I did not expect, but loved the turn there. Nahida just...
Who would have thought the world would be so eager for my birth? I remember you, Booer, the god of wisdom, and standing beside you, the traveler.
Is he all-knowing and powerful now, like Greater Lord Rukkhadevata?
No.
No, I can't feel the same kind of divinity I felt from the Greater Lord. It seems that the sages didn't get the chance to infuse the divine knowledge capsules into him. But even still, he has undoubtedly become
the
a
power
true
of a
god now.
He does not have the wisdom and omnipotence of a god because he lacks divine knowledge, but he has the power of a god.
The Balladeer. A long bygone title. When my spirit ascended to divinity, I felt as if I had existed for the same number of epochs as heaven and earth. Looking back, the existence of what once called itself Kunikazushi appears infinitely small and ugly.
Cool. After the first part of the fight, we go down to the second part of the fight, which was, again, really cool reveal. I was kind of up because they did obviously reveal his form, I think, in the 3.2 trailer, showing him off as a new weekly boss. And they also revealed his music when they showed his full body. But it was still a hella cool reveal right there. And the music was just so good. After a good chunk of the fight, this cutscene happens. Punch!
This is supposed to be a battle between gods, yet you choose to hide behind a mortal. And now, you're acting like you'd sacrifice yourself for a human. Are you having fun proving a false sense of heroism to yourself, Boor?
Punch! Again, in the same way that Signora took the Gnosis of Venti, he kills Nahida.
The data collection is almost complete. Do you even know how many times you've tried to take my Gnosis from me?
Awesome. And again, I love the matrixy look of it, because that's Nahida's variation of the Samsara.
We just concluded the 168th loop.
Meaning it's almost half a year of loops. Because we had 168 days, right?
The people of Sumeru were forced to live through the exact same number of
That's what I meant. 168 is
cycles.
182 is half a year.
Power of dreams. When did you use it on me?
At the very beginning of the fight. It was such a cool setup. I'm gonna take one more bio break, guys. Keep watching.
You can't even defeat me in a dream. What do you hope to achieve with this little trick?
Come, traveler. Just like before. Allow me to awaken the memories in your dreams.
All that battle experience!
It's more than that. Compile everyone's wisdom in the name of the Archon. That is the original function of the Akasha. I've sent everything that happened just now to the people of Sumeru in the form of knowledge. I've asked them to help you find a way to defeat the false god. Now, all of Sumeru's wisdom is at your disposal.
Meaningless tricks won't save you.
Awesome fight. Still really cool. I loved the idea of
Are you done
the
with your
proper
tricks?
purposes, the proper purpose of the
Can I finally take this
Akasha.
as a real battle between gods?
I'll leave this to you.
Having
first
all of
Boor.
and that's really cool too. But having all of the people of Sumeru analyze 168 battles worth of data to give us the way to battle him.
Humans. Filthy humans.
And also, First Age of Boar, dope name. I mean, like, we've obviously, we're close with Zhongli and Venti. I'd say we're pretty close with Venti. We're kind of close with Zhongli.
Wait!
Raiden, we helped her a bunch,
but
I'd say, like, Nahida, is probably the Archon we are closest to. And we've spent the most time
That's mine! Don't even try! I'll never go back!
He's dead. And the glow fades from his eyes, that godly glow fades from his eyes as he falls. And just wrecks his dome.
We haven't yet found the answer to the most important mystery. Irminsul is still waiting to be saved. With the power of another Gnosis, we may now finally understand the last memory of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata.
If I were you, Nahida, I would plug that.
That's right.
Into
This
the
is the last
Akasha
memory
and take your own Gnosis
of
back
my
into you and power up.
predecessor.
That's what I would do. But within Rukkhadevata's final memory, they encounter a lucid consciousness of her, who explains the reason behind Nahida's creation. Rukkhadevata's very existence was corrupted by forbidden knowledge, the knowledge of King Deshret, or that King Deshret found, and as a result, Nahida was created to erase her from Irminsul.
We all nestle under the great tree of wisdom, peering out to perceive the world. From the earth and from the rain, we perceive its wonders, until we become a white bird to perch atop a branch, and finally snap off the most important leaf. Once upon a time, I alone dreamed in this world. In my dreams, everybody would also dream after they fell asleep. Wild and wonderful thoughts would emerge from their minds. Some tumbled to the ground, and others floated to the sky, connecting all things in the world into one dazzling net. Among a plethora of worlds were numerous smaller worlds, all of fate, finding within the tapestry their brilliant glow. I gradually understood that these indescribable and constantly changing things are the most profound things in the world. Only they can completely repel the madness. Only dreams can awaken consciousness from the deepest darkness.
Still gets to me. It's still such a cute scene. I love Nahida.
I'm the one who posed this question, yet also the one who sought a solution. Saving the world with the dreams of the people used to be my answer. And now, you've also found your own answer, and I shall return all the dreams to the people.
Junior Zod! Cured of Eleazar. Kale. Thank God Kale's
Goodbye,
dead.
people of Sumeru.
Isaac's grandfather.
May you be blessed
right?
tonight
And
with the
Hypatia.
sweetest of dreams.
What a good. After the traveler returns to the real world, everyone except the after returning to the real world, everyone except the traveler has forgotten Rukkhadevata's existence. Soon after, the traveler and Paimon are knocked out unconscious by a different segment of Vittori, not the one who left. Nahida agrees to give him the Electrognosis as long as he destroys his other segments. She gives the Dendrognosis in exchange for knowledge of the false sky of Teyvat. A few days later, Nahida reveals to the traveler their sibling is from Teyvat, as Irminsul, Somehow, I've heard so many theories about this, and I'm not even going to try and sum up any of them right now, because the theories for why she is of this world, but we are not of this world, is so baffling to me. My thought is, maybe it's because, I just said I wasn't going to do this. Maybe she did, because she did complete her journey, she somehow found a way to make herself part of the world, thereby, retroactively installing herself in the world, essentially. So she was a descender, but then chose to not. Or maybe it's, again, the idea of a samsara, so time is cyclical. So she was always from here, And because she was involved in the events of Conria, she was still part of the loop. But because we got essentially kicked out of time for some time, we were removed from Teyvat. I don't know. She then starts talking about the Descenders. We are the fourth Descender. The first Descender is most likely the primordial one, which is the Lost God. Which is where the idea of like the stars and all that imagery comes from. Primo gems stands for primordial gems, all of that. And it ties in like the primal god, the lost god. That's the actual name of the game in Chinese, the original name. And it was just called Genshin Impact here in the US. I don't know why. It's catchy. I get it. I don't know who the other would be. I think maybe the Second Throne, aka the Heavenly Principles, could be a Descender. Which is why maybe they don't know who she is. And I think maybe the third Descender could be an elf. I've heard some theories that maybe Gold, Reinsdatter, could be a one, but I personally think Reinsdatter, because of the naming convention, is just a Conrian. I think either Alice or Alice's progenitor, someone before Alice, came from is a Descender, which is why Alice, Klee, and Puccinella, who are the only three characters we see with the long pointed elf ears, they could be just another race from another world. I mean, I guess they could be from this world because we have characters like the Melazine and the Katsians and the Yokai, so there could easily be elves. But I think they're from another world. That's my theory. A game theory. Sometime later, the prisoner Scaramouche erases his past from Irminsul and becomes Wanderer. But eventually he accepts his past once again. But that means the entire world has forgotten who he is, except me, him, Paimon, who was reminded, and Nahida, who was reminded.
You have made your decision.
And then he fought, yeah.
Now, take this.
Those are his memories, right? This is him reclaiming his memory.
Set him free.
A puppet? What's he doing here? It's...
Kunikuzushi.
You're a human as far as I'm concerned.
Everyone's here. Wonderful.
Doctor.
What a fine blade. Nagamasa will be thrilled.
The swordsman who betrayed them and killed people, right?
This is my...
Is he alright? No way!
Cool.
Hey! Are you done yet?
Yeah. All worthless dross. We'll be purged.
This is the second time, as long as you did the Arnara quest, this is the second time we see someone get a vision.
This won't be the end!
Grabbing his future, but his past has grabbed onto him too. His past memories as Scaramouche, the Balladeer. Really cool imagery.
Balladeer?
Die.
Some days later, the traveler meets Kaya in Dainsleif and learns that Kaya is of Conrian descent. The traveler and go to a place where their sibling mentioned the Loom of Fate. On the next day, the traveler approaches alone to meet with Conrad man trying to remove the curse from his son, Caribert. He calls himself Ida, I believe, right? The two meet the sinner. I mean, look at that.
World.
Look at this.
In the end, the proud king of the desert, my eternal lord.
I mean, like, it's a very specific imagery, right? The purple crystal. And Deshret was against other gods, right? He wanted more. He was all about innovation. And this one is a sinner who said he does not stand before gods, or he's about it. He's not a god. He's a sinner. Right. They find Caribert.
Papa.
Caribert.
Papa, I can't take it.
Please, Caribert. It's my fault. I'm so sorry. If only I'd known.
It's all too much. Papa.
Removes his mask and this abyssal power explodes out of him. The man turns out to be the founder of the Abyss Order and recognized the Traveler as the Traveler's sibling, which was a really cool scene. I called it. I thought we were in the past because of the mirror. But the fact that we were seeing our siblings' memories was a cool twist. And not only did he recognize us, he called us the princess. He called us the Princess of Conria, which supports my theory of us being like an adopted daughter to Ermin, the king of Conria. Adopted, yeah.
Traveler! Hey, Traveler! Traveler!
It turns out the incident they witnessed was a memory of their sibling. You're not gonna... Oh, hold up. Whoa. You're not gonna mention that Ida was Clothar Alberic, the ancestor of Kaya, and the founder of the Abyss Order, who maybe died. Maybe he found a way to break the curse of immortality. And he was interred in the field with his wife, which is why our sibling took over the Abyss Order. Right? Now, a lot of people think Kaya could be Caribert. I don't think so. I'm not in that camp. I'm in the camp that Kaya is a descendant of Caribert. Because in Genshin obviously takes a lot from myth, a lot from legend, a lot from history. In history, the reign of King Charlemagne is tied very closely with Arthurian legends. Legend of King Arthur, the Sword and the Stone. And that's clearly a big inspiration for Mondstadt. In fact, there's a character named Arthur standing next to a sword stuck in the stone outside of Mondstadt. Just saying. But like the Knights of Favonius are very clearly similar to the Knights of the Round Table. There's a character named Parsifal who's clearly Percival. I think that's going to tie a lot in with the quest for the Holy Grail and all of that. But in the era of Charlemagne, Charlemagne was a descendant of Caribert and Clothar. Clothar and Caribert, and I think I think Clothar found a way to break the curse in the Abyss. Because hell, we saw the people in the Abyss trying to break the curse again in the Chasm quest line. In the Requiem of the Echoing Depths. Right? They were trying to break the curses. I think they managed to do that on a smaller scale. Caribert became the Loom of Fate, had children, and I think Caribert is Kaya's father. grown up, freed and restored to his human form. He had a child. That child is Kaya. He left him in Mondstadt. That's where I'm at right now. And Clothar broke it, and so our sibling and Carrie Bear interred his body with his mother. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it until proved otherwise. But yeah, so I think Kaya is their descendant. And a lot of people are like, well, if Kaya is part Conrian, why was he never cursed? Because I think the curse isn't like a continuously genetic thing or a thing that continues to be passed on. I think Conrians can have children that are not exposed to the curse. I think it's the people that were in Conria during the events of the Conrian Cataclysm are the only ones who are cursed. If that makes sense. So if they have children in the future, they are not cursed. If that makes any, yeah. All right. So that was awesome. And they end with the Port Ormos music, which is great. All right. That was really dope. About 2.5 hours, a little bit longer than I probably yapped a little more than I should. But it's just so good. There's so many theories. There's so much fun ideas to be had in Genshin. So much lore to delve into, and I love it, man. I am so excited for 4.0, and this was a really cool look back. And I got to spin some theories, and, you know. Again, really excited for 4.0. Definitely go check out my reaction to the 4.0 live stream and trailer. Looking back has made me so excited for the story. And I'm noticing now tiny things that were teased in this that were in that trailer. The one thing that I caught there was in one of those things they mentioned Pneuma Energy, which was specifically called out in today's live stream. And I think that's interesting, and I think that's going to be a big thing. It was just a tiny little line. All right. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to call it. This has been real. This has been a trip the past few years. I'm so glad I got back into Genshin. I liked Genshin a lot in 2020 and 2021, but then I moved. I dropped off when I moved into my current apartment from my last place, which was mid 2021, and I was gone for most of 2021 and early 2022. I got back into it around, I think, May of 2022. And honestly, that 1 year gap was a big bummer. I should never have dropped it. It's such a good game. It's so much fun. Obviously, it has so many flaws. But I still love the crap out of it. Anyway, that's where we're going to call it. So, guys, make sure you are subscribed here on YouTube. You like this video to help me grow the channel. And if you want, you can subscribe over on Twitch, twitch.tv/HollowAvarice. Link in the description. And you can catch me live playing Genshin Impact 4.0 when it comes out. It might be a day or two later as I'm going on a trip. But hey, tune in, follow me, and give me a watch. Thank you so much for joining me. That's all for this thing that I am doing, and I will be seeing you. Until next time, peace. Da 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 da.